Part 30. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 291. Hearing Lu Mengli's words, Zhang Cheng's face instantly burst into a bright smile. Very good, forgive me. But Zhang Cheng also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, when he broke his promise yesterday, Yu, the fake god, did not come again. Otherwise, with his luck value of 100, Lu Mengli might have a horrifying impression of him. The protagonist has to be on guard at all times. Putting away the small balls on the ground, Zhang Cheng pushed open the door of the ward and walked in. Are you hungry? Zhang Cheng asked. Lu Mengli nodded and replied, a little bit. I waited too late last night and didn't eat anything. This morning, when the nurse came in to see me sleeping, she probably didn't think of asking me to get up for breakfast. Lu Mengli's stomach is still empty now. I bought breakfast, and I'll feed you. Zhang Cheng smiled and picked up the packaged breakfast from the table, opened the lid, and saw that the lean meat porridge was still steaming. He scooped out a spoonful, tested the temperature himself, and then handed it to Lu Mengli after he thought it was okay. Lu Mengli's face turned slightly red when she saw this scene. She was still a little unaccustomed to this kind of intimacy, even if she had a good impression of Zhang Cheng. You don't have to test the temperature of every spoonful. You don't understand, what if a spoonful of this is hot? Is this box heated in different areas? I've learned a lot. While chatting and feeding porridge, the gap between the two gradually disappeared. For Lu Mengli, Zhang Cheng had only been around for a few days, and she couldn't adapt to the fact that her relationship had escalated so quickly. Seeing his performance today, Lu Mengli's disappointment with Zhang Cheng yesterday suddenly disappeared. So far, Zhang Cheng is pretty good. You can consider dating him. I will bring you medicinal food tomorrow, which will help you recover faster, Zhang Cheng said again after breakfast. Lu Mengli turned her head and asked, what is medicated food? She didn't understand the concept of medicated diet. Zhang Cheng explained, medicinal diet is to cook dishes with appropriate Chinese medicines, which will have a certain therapeutic effect. To put it simply, it's diet therapy. Oh, okay, Lu Mengli blinked. Seeing this, Zhang Cheng smiled and shook his head. Medicinal diet is actually very common in traditional Chinese medicine, and it also has good therapeutic effects. This does not mean that all Chinese medicine practitioners should decoct medicine to drink. When it comes to nourishing the body, Chinese medicinal diet is definitely the leader. There is nothing more effective than medicated diet therapy. In the ward, Zhang Cheng and Lu Mengli kept talking about the past few days, and then took out their mobile phones to show her the latest news. Jokes, interesting topics. Zhang Cheng just opened his mouth. Lu Mengli was also amused by him and kept laughing. For a time, Lu Mengli's laughter floated throughout the ward, and she was very happy. Time flies by quickly and it's almost noon. It wasn't until a phone rang that Zhang Cheng came out of this atmosphere and said apologetically, Mengli, I still have things to deal with here. I'll be with you again tomorrow morning. Lu Mengli glanced at him and said lightly, oh, it's up to you. Zhang Cheng. First of all, even if Zhang Hongjian knew about it, she would not talk about it everywhere. Zhang Cheng knows how to manage time very well. Then he closed his eyes and rested. After closing the door, Zhang Cheng took out his cell phone from his trouser pocket. After looking at the person who called him, he turned and walked towards the elevator. Are you going to meet your future parents-in-law? With Tiancheng shares, she no longer needs to make money from these industries. After coaxing Lu Mengli, Zhang Cheng came out of the ward. However, Zhang Cheng was suddenly worried. He wondered if Zhang Lai would have told Zhang Hongjian and Zhang Hong about the relationship between the two after he came back, right? However, this idea was quickly rejected by him. I said. He found that the little head felt very comfortable to touch. She only holds shares in Tiancheng Industrial in a false name and receives dividends every year. Coming in empty-handed is the same. Zhang Chen nodded seriously. I promise you, I won't be a puppy tomorrow. Now, her focus should be on reuniting Zhang Hong after a long absence and cleaning up those somewhat unclean properties and making them regular. Zhang Chen grinned, stretched out his hand to touch her head, and said dotingly, "Good boy, I'll come with you tomorrow." Zhang Chen left the hospital and drove to Zhang La's house. Woman. Then you promise me that you won't be late again tomorrow. When I wake up, you have to sit on my bedside like you did today. He felt that he was close to reaching the threshold of a time management master. The reason why she maintained her status as the underground queen was because she wanted Zhang Hong to hear her name when he came to the demon city and came into contact with these underground forces. It's just that you go to bed early and get up early every day, and your posture doesn't have to be so complicated. Hey, they all want to possess me, I'm used to it. This feeling is not bad. Huanji was smiling just now, but when I said I was leaving, your face changed immediately, right? So she needs sleep badly. Because her industry is an underground industry and she has no contact with serious businessmen, she has no place to talk about it. Zhang Chen has become accustomed to wanting to touch the heads of cute girls. In the ward, Lu Mengli breathed a sigh of relief with some satisfaction. Now that she has passed the critical period, her damaged body has begun to recover. Lu Mengli was tired of being rubbed by him, and then she returned to her previous appearance, with a pitiful look on her face. After hearing his solemn promise, Lu Mengli looked at him reluctantly. You said so. This is a bit scary. He didn't buy anything, and Zhang Chen didn't feel the need to buy anything. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 292. Zhang Cheng soon arrived at Zhang La's house. Before he arrived, he saw Zhang Lai standing on the roadside from a distance. When he saw his Aston Martin approaching, an intoxicating smile broke out on Zhang La's beautiful face, and he raised his hand and waved. A smile also appeared on Zhang Cheng's face. Parking the car at the door, Zhang Cheng got out of the car, and Zhang Lai walked up. Big liar, we haven't seen each other for so long, have you ever been involved with others? After saying that, he came up and smelled Zhang Cheng. Looking at her actions, Zhang Cheng was shocked. Damn it, are you so direct? Little girl, you are too defensive. Zhang Cheng wanted to complain. But he couldn't, so he could only show a hint of helplessness and said with a wry smile, do you think I am such a person? I'm very busy every day now. Zhang Cheng is indeed very busy. Every day I am busy dealing with domestic and foreign affairs, planning the company, and picking up girls. Extremely busy. Zhang Lai smelled it for a while, then raised his head, frowned and asked, why do you smell like hospital disinfectant? Zhang Cheng breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I stayed overnight at Su Yao's house, and the remaining smell was covered by the smell of disinfectant from the hospital. Otherwise it would be really miserable. Zhang Cheng spread his hands and said a little tiredly, I only slept for 4 hours today, then I got up to work, and went to the hospital to visit a friend. Speaking of this friend, Zhang Cheng's tone was a little more serious. They are indeed friends, just girlfriends. It's been decided, Lu Mengli is really only one step away from being captured. Oh, okay, I believe you. Zhang Lai felt a little distressed when he saw that his eyes were a little dark. It seems that he has really been busy during this period. Oh, I was just here to chat with you. Come in, my parents have made dinner and are waiting for you to come over and start cooking. After saying that, Zhang Lai pulled Zhang Cheng towards the villa. Zhang Cheng looked helpless. Okay, now there's really no need to guess, Zhang Lai really told Zhang Hongjian and Zhang Hong about being together. This performance is already obvious, isn't it? After entering the villa, the two walked through the living room and came to the dining room. Here, there is another table of extremely sumptuous dishes. Mr. Zhang is here, sit down quickly. When Zhang Hongjian and Zhang Hong saw the two of them, smiles instantly appeared on their faces. After saying this, the couple looked at each other again, each finding a glimmer of relief in the other's eyes. Well, it seems that a successful man like Zhang Cheng can't stop our daughter's charm. The two looked at each other but said nothing. They knew that Zhang Cheng's career was now at a tense stage and it was not appropriate to expose his relationship with his daughter. Otherwise, those foreign forces will really send people to kidnap him and use this to threaten Zhang Cheng into giving up his technology. Both of them understand. When Zhang Cheng saw Zhang Hongjian and Zhang Hong, he smiled and said, "Aunt Zhang, Uncle Zhang, please call me Xiao Cheng." Now that the relationship is clear, it would be a bit inappropriate for these two to call themselves Mr. Zhang. The couple looked at each other again and smiled, "Ha ha ha, then we will call you Xiao Cheng from now on." Zhang Cheng nodded with a smile. She was originally her subordinate, but now she has become her mother-in-law. Alas, things are unpredictable. Zhang Cheng coughed twice. Zhang Hong said with a smile, "It doesn't matter, one code is the same, I still have to say thank you." Of course, at her age and with a husband, she is naturally not the kind of person who has a favorable impression of love. He had already heard about it from Zhang Hongjian, and also found some previous channels to inquire about it. Now, her favorability towards Zhang Cheng is 100. Then came the daughter. This is so hardcore. Come on, oh. Xiao Cheng, what are you going to do next? After the two of them finished speaking, Zhang Hongjian asked. Zhang Cheng and Zhang Lai sat across from each other and picked up the already filled rice bowls. Without him, his daughter might have been killed some time ago. "Aunt Zhang, Uncle Zhang, please be polite. We will be a family from now on. Isn't this a bad thing for you?" Seeing this, Zhang Cheng could only smile bitterly, pick up a cup of tea, touch it with him, and then drink it in one gulp. Zhang Hongjian focused her eyes on Zhang Cheng and said seriously, "Xiao Cheng, thank you for healing Brother Hong's injury a month ago. That's who he is. Even if they want to sell the shares he gave, they must obtain their consent. But you still have to face it with a smile. Everything in Tiancheng belongs to him, and no one can get involved without his permission." Zhang Hongjian looked at them with a smile. Zhang Hong also understood that it was Zhang Cheng who informed the Nightingale leader. The couple was so enthusiastic that Zhang Chengdu was a little uncomfortable with it. At that time, the family of three really had no chance to reunite. With that said, he picked up another cup of tea and solemnly said, "Replace the wine with tea and thank you, Xiao Cheng, for your kindness to our family." Zhang Cheng smiled lightly and said, "Let nature take its course. Tiancheng can't fail as long as I'm here." After the four of them finished eating, they moved to the living room. For him, Zhang Cheng's various behaviors were no less than a blessing for their family of three. "Come on, you're welcome, eat more." Zhang Hong boiled water and made tea, and then entered the chatting mode. As a condition for him to take away his daughter. When Zhang Cheng said this, his tone was unusually strong. It was discovered that the killer organization of Mala Kingdom, Nightingale, was actually destroyed by a group of mysterious people some time ago. Zhang Hong also nodded. Fortunately, the leader of the Nightingale organization knew the news in advance, escaped the disaster, and even killed this group of people. First of all, I am a disabled person, waiting to die in Jinling. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 293. Seeing him like this, Zhang Hongjian said nothing more. She doesn't understand this. She just asked Zhang Cheng what he thought. For her, Engaging in so-called business is like going to university to study and take the postgraduate entrance examination. Too abstruse. Businessmen, like those in official careers, are not fuel-efficient lamps. Of course, if we were to rank them by force, those in the official career would undoubtedly be more powerful. But a successful person like Zhang Cheng is no worse than those in the official career, and is even better than many people. The news she watches now is all about Zhang Cheng. Even the big foreign countries are trying their best to get Zhang Cheng's technology. Although Zhang Cheng is in a dangerous situation now, he cannot disclose his relationship with too many people. But she believes that one day, after Zhang Cheng's position is stabilized, he will definitely be one of the few people standing at the top. One person is as good as one country. This is Zhang Hongjian's idea. Zhang Hongjian sighed, now the world is dominated by young people like you. We old people can only look at you now, we can't share your burdens with you, and we don't understand anything. As she said that, she glanced at Zhang Lai on the sofa and said with a smile, this girl is the same. She doesn't know anything. Now she only knows how to play games and watch TV shows. Zhang Hongjian wanted to send Zhang Lai for training, but the girl had no interest. But without training, if Zhang Cheng's future status is too high, how can Zhang Lai be worthy of it? She didn't want her daughter to become a vase that others would complain about. The better Zhang Cheng is, the more determined she is to train Zhang Lai well. A successful man must have a woman by his side who is worthy of his status. Not only does she share the burden for him, but she must also have an overall view of the situation. Therefore, it is necessary to cultivate Zhang Lai. So Zhang Hongjian said to Zhang Lai, Xiao Lai, you follow me to the bar and company tomorrow, and my mother will let someone teach you. When Zhang Lai heard this, she subconsciously wanted to refuse, but she was not stupid and understood what her mother meant. Nodding, Zhang Lai responded, okay. Study. The great liar has become a person sought after by the whole world. He cannot fall behind, otherwise it will be bad if he is disliked. In 8 or 9 months, you will also have a younger brother or sister, and your mother and your father will not be too lonely by then. Seeing her agreement, Zhang Hongjian nodded with satisfaction, then gently stroked her belly and said with a smile. Zhang Lai was shocked when he heard this, and then a look of joy appeared on his face. Mom, are you pregnant? She had no objection to mom and dad having another child. It's just, older pregnant women are a bit. Zhang Hongjian nodded, looked at Zhang Hong, her eyes full of admiration, and said, Mom and your dad agreed back then that if you give birth to a girl, your surname will be mine, and if you give birth to a boy, your surname will be that of your father. Now that you have grown up, your father and I have been separated for so many years, and I also want to have another one. After saying that, a phone rang, interrupting their atmosphere. Zhang Cheng suddenly felt guilty. Yeah, you. Zhang Lai nodded and said, I know him. I met this guy at the door when I went to the bar to find my mother 2 days ago. Now Zhang Chengzhen can no longer relax, the action against fake gods is imminent. Zhang Cheng looked at the state of the couple and couldn't help but smile and said, Aunt Zhang, Uncle Zhang, congratulations, I will write you a prescription for raising a baby later to ensure that the child will be healthy. Then he stopped me and kept yelling at me to give him a chance to express his apology. He also told me to leave his contact information and invite me to dinner next time. But I knew from the look in this guy's eyes that he wasn't a good guy, so I refused and left. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Hongjian sighed. Zhang Cheng was startled and asked, do you know him? Yeah, you. It's this guy again. Did fake Shenhao system reward him with so many shares? Because they have been trained, their physical fitness is much better than that of ordinary people, even elderly pregnant women are fine. After saying these things, Zhang Hongjian suddenly said, 2 days ago? It was also within the past few days that you obtained the company's equity. A familiar plot again. Zhang Hongjian held Zhang Hong's hand. The two's biggest wish at the beginning was to stay together until old age, but the unpredictable world kept the two separated for many years. Zhang Lai suddenly spoke up, his tone revealing some disgust. Two people have already bought their shares at a high price from him, and now he wants to buy more. So after Zhang Hong's body was almost recuperated, the two of them got together. Huh, Zhang Cheng was a little confused. When I first got to the bar, this guy had just come out, had too much wine and bumped into me. After hearing the two people's words, Zhang Cheng's eyes instantly narrowed in a dangerous arc. He can even hold shares in his future mother-in-law's entertainment company. Yu is quite awesome. Now that they are reunited, they naturally can't hold it back. Zhang Hongjian answered the question, and then the smile on her face gradually disappeared and even became a little ugly. Zhang Hongjian and Zhang Hong also looked at her in surprise. Oh, his name is Yu. He is a very young man. I have met him once. Zhang Hongjian nodded and said with a smile, that's good. Hearing these words, Zhang Cheng's expression suddenly became strange. Zhang Cheng suppressed his desire to complain and asked, what's that person's name? Zhang Hongjian said, recently, 27% of the company's shares were inexplicably bought by one person, and now this guy is buying up other people's shares. Zhang Hongjian's condition is actually very good. Seeing everyone looking at him, Zhang Lai had no choice but to tell what happened. When Zhang Cheng saw this, he couldn't help but ask, Aunt Zhang, what's wrong? What happened? Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 294. Judging from this incident, it seems that Yu wants to date Zhang Lai. Young man's thinking is a bit dangerous. Zhang Cheng doesn't care what shares he acquires, but if these frequent moves are directed at Zhang Lai, then he has to think carefully about it. Zhang Cheng can compete fairly with you for women, but that doesn't mean that Zhang Cheng's own women can be his. It's Yu again, I know, Zhang Cheng said slowly. Hearing his tone, Zhang Hongjian was stunned, and then asked, Xiao Cheng, do you know him? Zhang Cheng narrowed his eyes and smiled lightly, we know him, but we just don't deal with him. His relationship with Yu was really complicated. In short, the false god will not live long, he will be destroyed. Originally I just wanted to transition the plot, but it turned out that there were so many accidents. First, it was because he was too early and announced the opportunity that belonged to Yu. Hydrogen energy, renewable clean energy, cold fusion technology. Originally, all three items belonged to Yu. But Zhang Cheng spent more than 10,000 luck points to redeem all these technologies from the system mall. This led to subsequent changes in the plot. It is precisely because of this that Lu Mengli's car accident happened in advance without any warning. Then, Uncle Chen Qian's company shares were signed by the fake god Hao Yu and he obtained part of it. Now it has emerged that Yu covets his own woman. The future mother-in-law's entertainment company shares were also signed by Yu, a caring person. Tisk tisk. Yu is really accelerating his death. Originally, I wanted to give you more development and the feeling of being a powerful person for a while, but it turned out that you were a bit ignorant, Zhang Cheng thought to himself. He found that in the three plots he experienced, Yu seems to be the most successful. Because he enjoyed everything that should be enjoyed. His mind was racing. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng immediately said to Zhang Hongjian, Aunt Zhang, don't worry. Leave Yu's affairs to me. He won't be rampant for long. Zhang Cheng was very solemn when he said this. Yu. Awesome. Zhang Hongjian was a little worried at first, but after seeing Zhang Cheng's attitude, she felt relieved. Zhang Hongjian nodded, okay. After chatting for a while, Zhang Cheng had no intention of spending any more time here. He decided to take the initiative to combat the current rampant attitude of fake Shenhao. Otherwise, if I, the villain, remain indifferent, that would be too much of a failure. Zhang Lai took Zhang Cheng out of the villa and came to the roadside. Zhang Lai immediately hugged Zhang Cheng tightly and kissed him with a pair of red lips. Understand? I want you to be yourself and don't change yourself for me. During this period, everyone only saw Zhang Cheng's scenery. If I say something, I will work hard to achieve it. Zhang Hongjian said, well, you are really busy due to the current situation, so I won't keep you here. Those extreme people might find themselves. The two hugged and kissed each other for a long time, and then Zhang Lai let go of him. Zhang Cheng gave a shh sound and said seriously, I don't need you to share anything for me. I said at the beginning that you should be a carefree person, like a child without having to think. Zhang Cheng stood up and apologized to the two of them. Zhang Lai's beautiful eyes were moist. She looked at Zhang Cheng and smiled brightly, big liar, you still remember what you said. Zhang Lai held Zhang Cheng's face and said distressedly, big liar, you should pay more attention to rest. Look at your condition, you are much more haggard than before. The best and warmest words in the world are like this. This was also the reason why she agreed to Zhang Hongjian's serious study. When she first returned to China, she had seen how crazy those people were in order to assassinate Zhang Cheng. I really admire myself. Aunt Zhang, Uncle Zhang, there are some important things at the company waiting for me to handle, so I won't stay any longer. I'll come over for dinner next time. Zhang Lai began to feel sorry for him. He had neglected too much before. It's okay with me, and you should be okay too. Zhang Lai said distressedly, big liar, I will study hard and share the burden for you. It wasn't until this time on TV and major news pop-ups that I learned that Zhang Cheng had done so many great things. Xiao Lai, go and see Xiao Cheng off. Before she finished speaking, Zhang Cheng stretched out a finger to stop her. Zhang Cheng nodded and said with a smile, okay. But they didn't notice the efforts and sweat Zhang Cheng put in behind the scenes. Zhang Cheng showed a hint of haggardness, and although it passed briefly, the details were still captured by Zhang Lai, who had been watching him. What's wrong with you today? Why have you changed so much? Zhang Cheng said fondly, stroking her hair. Come over for tea and chat when you have time. We are all a family from now on, so there is no need to be too deliberate, Zhang Hong said with a smile. Zhang Cheng's excellence made her have to work hard to catch up with him and be by his side to help him share some of his burdens. At that time, he was not as successful as he is now. Zhang Cheng's deeply affectionate words, although ordinary, sounded so touching to Zhang Lai's ears. I remember everything I said to you clearly. Zhang Cheng kissed her smooth forehead and said with a smile, you are my baby, how could I dare to forget my promise to you? Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 295. Zhang Cheng felt that he was really good at talking. Even if you have no money, you can still win the favor of a bunch of rich women with this mouth. After Zhang Lai heard what he said, his already fallen heart began to beat rapidly again. The feeling of heartbeat is always there. A big liar is a big liar. Although he seems a bit unreliable, he still takes himself very seriously. Zhang Lai felt warm in his heart. She stood on tiptoes and kissed Zhang Cheng again. This time she took the initiative. Zhang Cheng promised that this time it was definitely not her who stuck out her tongue first, it was her who invaded me. Zhang Cheng enjoyed catering to her teasing and movements. It wasn't until the two of them kissed that they were almost out of oxygen, then they let go. Zhang Lai gasped, his face flushed, his eyes blurred, he looked at Zhang Cheng and said, big liar, I miss you, are you coming to see me tonight? Zhang Cheng was shocked when he heard this. What? I didn't ask you out this time. However, Zhang Cheng has always adhered to the principle of eating the meat that is brought to his mouth. He nodded happily and agreed, then go to your small villa. Zhang Lai also has his own small villa. After all, he is such an old man and needs some privacy. So Zhang Hongjian bought her a set in another villa area. Zhang Lai nodded repeatedly, well, then I'll wait for you tonight and come back early. I understand, I'll leave first. Zhang Cheng waved his hand and got into the car. Zhang Lai stood there and watched Zhang Cheng disappear before returning to the villa. Zhang Hongjian looked at her daughter's bouncing figure and looked at each other in perfect understanding with Zhang Hong beside her. After her daughter sat over, Zhang Hongjian smiled and said, Xiao Lai, how is your relationship with Xiao Cheng going? Zhang Lai squinted and nodded, very good. Mom, I'm going back to the small villa tonight. Hearing these words, the couple looked at each other in tacit understanding again. Zhang Hongjian nodded, well, it should be, we are all together, we really need some privacy. Zhang Hong smiled and said nothing. He used to be good at eloquence, but since the organization he founded was destroyed and he became a homeless man in Oris Hill for so many years, his eloquence has long since disappeared. Now he just laughs and agrees. Xiao Lai, Daddy is telling you. There are a lot of things going on at Xiao Cheng Company now. It's not suitable to have children, so don't force it. When his company is completely stable, you can have as much money as you want. Now you have to endure it, but you still have to have the life you deserve. Zhang Hongjian also agreed, your dad is right. Little adult is very good, but now too many people are watching his every move. Your relationship cannot be exposed, otherwise safety issues cannot be guaranteed. Zhang Lai sat on the sofa, looking at his parents. You said, I said, his little face immediately fell. I'm not a child anymore, how could I not know? And the big liar also knows how to exercise restraint every time, and never fails to do so, which I would never have thought of even if I thought about it. In this way, Zhang Lai was brainwashed again under the mixed education of his parents. Zhou Hao quickly walked to Zhang Cheng and sat down. Mr. Zhou, the chairman wants you to go to his office. The 10 promised updates have been completed. However, she did not dare to delay and directly got through to Zhou Hao. Zhang Cheng went straight to his desk, sat down, and pressed the pager button. The secretary was a little surprised when she received the chairman's hotline. This was the first time she had seen the chairman's hotline ring since she started working at Tiancheng Group. Therefore, when seeing this information, he will not feel headache or confused, because he is a real president and chairman. Yes. After leaving Zhang Lai, Zhang Cheng drove towards the new headquarters. Zhang Cheng nodded and said, okay, go get it, I want to take a look. When we came to the office, the whole room was full of technology. Readers, am I right? Could you please give me a small gift? What are the highlights of the reminder video? The young author really wants to earn 2 more yuan. Wow wow wow. Yes, all the information is in my office. Acquire all these companies. Let me ask you, do you have all the information about the investment company? Bring it up and show it to me, Zhang Cheng asked directly. After arriving at Zhang Cheng's office, Zhou Hao said directly, Mr. Zhang, you are looking for me. Okay, chairman. Everyone has black lines on their heads, this. Still want to add more? Could you please bring me more gifts? Generating electricity for love is also love. If you are certified by a master, don't expect it. Although he hasn't dealt with company affairs for a long time, it doesn't mean that he has forgotten. Zhang Cheng didn't even raise his head and said directly, sit down and talk. The knowledge he knew was not comparable to that of a fake god like Yayu. Zhou Hao, who was in a meeting with senior executives, was surprised to find that Mr. Zhang had been coming quite frequently recently. P.S. Justice may be late, but updates will never time out. When Zhou Hao went down to get the information and came back, Zhang Cheng took the information and quickly read through it. Arriving at the headquarters, Zhang Cheng went straight to his top-floor office. Thanks to the system, Zhang Cheng's memory and thinking have improved a lot now. Zhou Hao didn't have time to explain too much to them, so he just picked up the document in his hand and walked out of the conference room and went straight to the elevator. The secretary's call was quickly answered, and Zhang Cheng said directly without hesitation, "Call Zhou Hao up." This is also the first time he has stepped into his office since the new energy headquarters was established. Love you guys. Dear readers. After Zhang Cheng quickly read through all the company information he acquired, he put down the documents and looked at Zhou Hao seriously. Not daring to neglect, Zhou Hao directly put down all the work at hand and said to the senior management of the group, "Okay, let's break up the meeting first, and we will resume the meeting later. In addition, I also need you to do something for me. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 296. Help me investigate all the companies that Yayu has shares in. After Zhou Hao heard this name, a strange look flashed in his eyes. Seemingly sensing that he had something to say, Zhang Cheng said, "If you have anything to say, say it." Zhou Hao coughed and then said, "Mr. Zhang, do you know this Yayu?" Zhang Chen nodded. Seeing Zhang Chen nod, Zhou Hao showed a wry smile, "Mr. Zhang, today Yayu suddenly owns 20% of the shares of my father-in-law's company. You asked me to investigate his company. Did something happen?" Zhang Cheng. You said Yayu has shares in your father-in-law's company. Zhang Cheng was shocked. He invested 100 million to establish this company, and then Zhou Hao invested a little more to support it, and he also threw 5 construction robots into it. So it can be regarded as its own industry. But what he didn't expect was how Yayu obtained equity in an unlisted company. This is very intriguing. Isn't Yayu's system too bold, blindly rewarding equity without considering the company's situation? However, this is also easier to do. Zhou Hao nodded seriously and said, "Yes, Yayu suddenly held 20% of the shares this morning. But my father-in-law has never dispersed any equity. We are also baffled by his 20%. No funds have arrived in terms of capital injection." At this point, Zhou Hao was a little confused. Although that 20% is nothing, it is a bit disgusting for a company that is considered its own private property to be owned by a stranger with 20% of the shares without any clue. Give him the feeling of sleeping in his own bed with a stranger standing next to him. The old uncomfortable feeling. Zhang Cheng tapped the pen in his hand, and after thinking for a while, he slowly said, "I understand. Now go and find out for me how many companies Yayu holds shares in, and when they held them." One of Zhang Cheng's chances of overthrowing Yayu is relying on this information. "Yes, I will ask someone to investigate right now." After receiving the order, Zhou Hao immediately said respectfully, "Well, you go down first." When Zhou Hao left his office, Zhang Cheng immediately communicated about the long-lost system. System, did Yayu's system reward him with equity without capital injection? Zhang Cheng asked in his mind. Soon, the system gave a reply. After getting the answer he wanted, Zhang Cheng immediately had a countermeasure in mind. Returning to the host, all the equity obtained by Yayu, the son of luck, apart from the normal personal purchases, the rest were obtained through unauthorized modifications by the Shenhao system. "Mr. Zhang, this is all the reports about Yayu." The system replied, "Yes, but with later submission, this loophole will be perfectly closed." Because Yayu didn't have the ability to use any connections to cover up what he had, it was easy for Zhang Cheng to find out. Zhang Cheng took the folder, opened it and looked at it carefully, and suddenly realized that Yayu's system was really generous. "I have equity but no money. Do you really think that such a good thing will fall from the sky?" After he finished speaking, the huge office fell into silence. After hearing the answer given by the system, Zhang Cheng's eyes lit up. "You can't make up for it? If he waits any longer, Yayu will really become a billionaire. However, it is only valued based on the value of the equity. Although it is incredible, his equity documents are very reasonable and legal, and there are no loopholes. Even if you check them, they were obtained legally. However, it has nothing to do with him, because Zhang Cheng is the real talker. How can ordinary people buy at the same time with such precise seconds? He was directly rewarded with so much company equity. After a long time, Zhang Cheng raised his head, looked at Zhou Hao and said, "Contact a few of the companies on the list and ask them to verify the problem of Yayu's equity purchase funds. If there is a problem, ask them to urge Yayu to make up for it pay." Zhou Hao handed Zhang Cheng a folder. And most of them are listed companies. Zhang Cheng looked at this document and his rough estimate of Yayu's wealth, and found that Yayu's assets were as high as 23 billion. What do you think of his sudden appearance? After checking some information in the office, as time passed, it soon came to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. In the Magic City, he owns even more company equity, a total of 19 companies. Zhou Hao was stunned, and then said truthfully, "His equity is very strange." Zhou Hao sat on the chair, quietly waiting for Zhang Cheng's next arrangement. "Fix it for you in advance." He even owns 1% of the shares of a foreign coke company, which is awesome. "Look, Mr. Zhang, at 10 o'clock in the morning 3 days ago, at the same time and in the same seconds, he actually purchased the Chen Group and a small company at the same time, and each obtained about 20% of the equity. If we really want to talk about cash, unless he sells part of the company's equity to obtain cash flow, otherwise, he should only have a virtual currency limit of 1 or 2 million per day." Zhang Cheng said categorically, "There is no later stage." After reading the information, Zhang Cheng asked Zhou Hao. At this time, Zhou Hao had also completed the task of querying Yayu. Zhou Hao had already guessed that Mr. Zhang asked him to investigate Yayu, maybe because he wanted to deal with him. Zhang Cheng couldn't start from his system, so he had to start from the loopholes in his system bit by bit. Then he said, "In other words, Yayu actually only holds shares, but does not pay any funds, right?" Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 297. Zhou Hao was stunned for a moment, and then responded, "I will arrange it right away." He also understood that Zhang Cheng wanted to see how the company equity that Yayu purchased came from. When he thought of the companies Zhang Cheng had targeted, Zhou Hao understood that Yayu was also being targeted. Just when he turned to leave, Zhang Cheng called him back. "You first use the Luo Group's equity and question the Luo Group's method of acquiring Yayu's equity, who he bought and sold it from, and whether he has paid the required funds." Zhang Cheng suddenly remembered that he saw the 10% shares of Roche Group held by Yayu in the document. And Tian Cheng happened to buy a lot of them. The market value of Roche is tens of billions, and the actual registered capital is more than 4 billion. He also has to pay more than 400 million for Yayu's 10%. If he didn't buy it from other shareholders, then his money. After finishing this, Zhang Cheng lay on the chair and pinched his eyebrows. This kind of thing is still too tiring. Fake Shenhao will be difficult to defeat if he develops too much. The main reason is that his system is difficult to deal with. System, how to deal with Yayu's Shenhao system. Zhang Cheng also knew that if the problems with these shares were eliminated, Yayu would still have a high chance of making a comeback. As long as he has a mobile phone, it is enough for him to make a comeback. He rewards the female anchor every day with a virtual currency quota of 10:1 exchange ratio, and it won't take long for him to regain his blood. Return to the host. As long as the host has a way to get close to Yayu and consume more than 30 points of his luck value, I can implement the system recovery function. Hearing these words, Zhang Cheng was stunned. This system is a villain system and has the ability to control various novel scripts, so it can realize the recycling function. Zhang Cheng understood the sentence clearly. My own system means that it is relatively advanced, while Yayu's system is just a plot in a novel. It can control the fusion of multiple novels, so it is an advanced system. You should have told me earlier. Zhang Cheng suddenly felt uncomfortable. If I had known you could recycle the system, I shouldn't have thought about attacking Yayu through the vulnerability of shares. His original intention was to make Yayu unable to afford these equity acquisitions. Then he was sent to prison to work on the sewing machine with Song Cheng. In this way, whether he is still in the system or not, he is finished and will have to use a sewing machine in prison for at least 10 years. When he comes out in 10 years, Shenhao will be released from prison. By then he would have been invincible, so there was no need to be afraid of him. The host has not communicated with the system during this period. The system will not contact the host without authorization, so it did not inform about this matter. Blame me? I'm so busy these days, who has time to argue with you? Zhang Cheng scratched his head and suddenly found that he felt much more relaxed. However, Yayu's luck value of 100 is indeed a bit dazzling, and it's time to grab his chance. Except for the Shenhao system, which was his opportunity around 70 years old, the remaining 30 years are all traceable. At this time, Wang Meng said weakly again. Wang Meng was called over by someone during a drag racing competition that day, so he must be an acquaintance. Yayu didn't want his woman to show up in front of other men. Master, yeah, I'm going to film in a few days. Wang Meng immediately said, Fenjiao Agency. Do you want your woman to show off? Let others manage it now. He is a very controlling person. There is another opportunity, which should be for him to obtain future technology. When Yayu heard this, he frowned and his shaking legs stopped instantly. Yayu stroked her body and smiled nonchalantly, don't be in a hurry. I can't refuse what the company is doing for me. Wang Meng said helplessly. Soon Han Yu was shaken out. Master, yeah, your company hasn't been established yet, Wang Meng asked softly, sitting next to Yayu, leaning against Yayu. Huh? What else are you filming? Thinking of this, Zhang Chen began to contact the senior officials of Long Kingdom and others. How does he know how to set up a management company? Now he is just waiting for Bai Fei to help him find suitable talents. Not long after this news was posted, many people immediately started at Han Yu. Otherwise, what would you do with the money? Money is everything, just find the right person and throw money at it. Lu Mengli is an opportunity. Are you still short of money? Yayu nodded, then picked up his phone and sent a message to the prestige group of the rich second generation in the city. Just pay for it yourself, and then give some shares to that person and let him do things for you. I have already acquired hydrogen energy, renewable clean energy technology, and cold nuclear fusion technology. Entrust them to do it, and it won't take long for these technologies to be approved. It's not too late to consider these things after you use the system to sign in and gain business knowledge. Although Wang Meng is not his best wife candidate, at present, Wang Meng is his best playmate. Yayu didn't waste any time. He directly added his WeChat account and said straight to the point, Master Han, please give me face. Your company terminates the contract with Wang Meng. I owe you a favor, or I'll pay you 200 million in compensation. But the patent has not yet been applied for. As soon as these are completed, Yayu's luck value should drop. However, Yayu sneered and asked, Meng, what is the name of your company? Elsewhere in the magical city, Yayu was lying in the large villa that he had signed up for, enjoying life leisurely. Whose company? Yayu asked directly. Han Yu, Mr. Han's. Who is Mr. Han Yu and Mr. Han? Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 298. When Han Yu saw Yayu looking for him, he was a little afraid that he had done something to offend him. In the end, I discovered that the contract was terminated because of a woman. Master Ye, there is no need to pay. If you want it, I will give you face and terminate the contract directly without her having to bear any compensation. Han Yu is also very direct. Although a third-tier star can only earn their company tens of millions a year. This is still 46 points, and they get 6. This is how entertainment companies sign contracts. For those trainees, they basically get a guaranteed salary of 2,000 yuan, and then it depends on their earning ability. In the end, there will be a wave of squeeze, and not much value can be squeezed out in a year. For people like Wang Meng, they can squeeze out enough commercial value, 20 to 30 million a year. She still has to constantly arrange scenes for her, and she also has to fight for various advertising packages. The real profit is actually not much. Although Han Yu was also very moved by the 200 million that Ye Yu mentioned. But his family not only runs an entertainment agency, but also has many industries. His family wealth should be around 2 to 3 billion. But the 200 million is a one-time transaction. How could it compare to a favor from someone as powerful as Ye Yu? If you use this favor well, you can easily double the 200 million. There's no need to waste a favor on a little star. That's not worth it. Young Master Ye, it's my honor that you like me. How can I dare to take your money? Now that you have spoken, our company and Wang Meng will terminate the contract immediately. What Han Yu said in terms of prestige is generous. Although heartbroken, his words pleased Ye Yu very much. Ha ha ha, Mr. Han is a good friend. I recognize this brother. If you need anything in the future, just come to me. Seeing that Han Yu was so wise, Ye Yu was not stingy. He is a generous person, like Bai Fei, suitable for making friends, not bad. Han Yu was overjoyed after seeing Ye Yu's reply. Damn it! Are you and Ye Xiao becoming brothers? Ha ha ha. With this sentence, it will be much easier to deal with Ye Yu in the future. Even if you don't look for Ye Yu, you can still look for Bai Fei. Thank you, brother Ye, for being considerate. I will go to the company now to deliver the news of the termination of the contract. Han Yu was not ambiguous this time and spoke directly. Well, I'm sorry, brother Han. Ye Yu suddenly sighed. Now the amount of virtual currency Ye Yu rewards every day has increased to 30 million a day, and his legend has long been broadcast. It's just that the hot searches are always occupied by Zhang Cheng, leaving him no chance to show up. Hateful Zhang Cheng. Damn it, if it weren't for this guy, I would have established a good relationship with the rich second generation of Shanghai by now. Ye Yu was so angry that his teeth itched. He always felt that Zhang Cheng had taken away his opportunity, but there was no evidence. If it hadn't been for him, Ye Yu felt that he would have gained enough connections long ago, and with the support of the Shenhao system, he would have completely embarked on the road of entrepreneurship. How could he still be like now, relying on deceit and abduction to become a super powerful person? When I get the chance, I must show Zhang Cheng some color. Ye Yu secretly said, but this guy is more powerful than me now, so I have to endure it and quietly get in touch with those rich second generations. Don't show your face for the time being, and developing in obscenely is the right way. Only in this way can one become a true tycoon. When the time comes, what nonsense Zhang Cheng is, he will trample him to death with just one foot. Just wait, I'll make you look good one day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 299. While making preparations with Wang Meng, I was thinking about the fish in the fishing net I had cast. Ye Yu was in agitated mood. I wonder if Wang Meng can be allowed to come with us then. Ye Yu missed the three-person exercise that night a little bit. Because this feeling is so good. When you are tired of moving, let them help you move. Don't feel too good about it. It should be okay. Thinking of this, you couldn't help but glance at Wang Meng squatting underneath. Well, her unique skills are great. As if feeling Yu's gaze on her, Wang Meng raised her head and glanced at him, giving him a bright smile. Yu also responded with a bright smile. Awesome. It looks like she will satisfy her requirements. Because she didn't have a choice. Thinking of this, Yu felt comfortable. No, I have to let my former goddess come to the magic city tonight. Buzz. Suddenly, the mobile phone on the table rang. Yu took the phone and answered the incoming message. Hello? Who is this? The tone was a little impatient. You are busy, you really don't have any consciousness at all? Mr. Yu, right? We are Luo Group. You have an unpaid equity fund of 430 million. Please come over and pay it immediately. Hearing this, Yu was shocked and immediately asked, what equity funds? The other party also patiently explained to him, when we were doing equity accounting, we found that the amount of your equity purchase has not been paid. Please transfer the money to the designated account as soon as possible and come back to Roche Group tomorrow to sign the contract. Snap. After saying this, the other party hung up the phone directly. Yu was dumbfounded at the time. What the hell? What is equity funding? Yu didn't even understand what it meant. So he quickly entered his mind and asked the system, asking, System, what is equity funds? Why does Roche Group say that I have this money but have not paid it? The system was silent for a while, and then said, Host, your Roche Group shares have not been purchased with normal funds, so you need to purchase them at your own expense. The system is simple and concise, that is to say, I got this equity for you, but you still need to pay the money yourself. If this system is obtained by the capitalists, it will be a wonderful system. It's a pity, poor Yu got it, which made him feel a little uncomfortable. Only 1 to 2 million, 2 to 3 million actual funds are deposited into the account every day, and I don't know how long it will take to pay. Yu is not stupid. After all, he is also a programmer, even though he was fired. But it didn't stop him from understanding the system logic. In other words, the equity awarded by your own Shenhao system only has your own name, but there is some equity fund that has not been paid. It's just to occupy a pit for yourself. The money gained from daily tips may be saved by myself to plug this loophole. At this moment, Yu felt 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping past. He also understood that although he now has tens of billions of assets, it is only virtual and has not yet become a reality. Damn it, why didn't you tell me earlier? Yu cursed loudly in his mind. You told me earlier. All the money from my reward was used for fun and buying shares of other small companies. Damn it, you got me killed. Uncomfortable. The host can negotiate to transfer the equity, or choose to pay. The system voice responded coldly. Yu also knew at this moment that things were getting a bit complicated. If he fails to pay, then if all is investigated, he will be in debt worth tens of billions. Thinking of this, Yu's face twitched. After exiting the system space, Yu raised his hand to hold down Wang Meng's head, which was swallowing, and stopped her from repeating the action. Wang Meng was having fun when she was suddenly stopped, a trace of displeasure flashed in her eyes. But it was only for a moment. She didn't dare to do anything to Yu. This was her sponsor. Brother what's wrong? Wang Meng wiped his mouth and then asked. Yu rubbed his temples and said with a headache, let me be quiet first. Hearing this, Wang Meng moved out of the way very wisely. Yu was thinking about how much money he still had in hand. I have spent more than 200 million in the past few days, and now I still have 1.7 billion left. If you want to pay off the money, you still need 300 million. Thinking of this, Yu picked up his cell phone, put on his pants and walked out of the villa, calling Bai. When the call was connected, Yu said directly, "Master Bai, lend me 300 million. On the other end of the phone, Bai was stunned for a moment, and then asked, "Master Ye, what happened?" Yu smiled bitterly and said, "I am a little short of funds. I have spent the money to buy shares of other companies these days. Something happened, and I am short of 300 million. Don't worry, I can pay you back the 300 million within 3 days. Yu also decided to reduce some shares first and cash out a large sum of money. Otherwise, if similar incidents happen again, it will be a really tragic death. My dog is less reliable than the system. Who knows what it will reward next? That is to say, there are only 2 days left to achieve the achievement of weekly signing and monthly signing. Otherwise, he cannot guarantee that he can pay off this bad debt within 3 days. Okay, I'll send the money over in a minute." On the other end of the phone, Bai groaned, then nodded. After all, Yu still has a luck value of 100 and is a child of full luck. Naturally, Bai will not refuse the role of the protagonist's halo. "Huh, thank you so much, brother Bai. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO." Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 300. Yu breathed a sigh of relief. With Bai's support, he was finally able to survive this time. This incident also made Yu completely vigilant. The rewards of the dog ratio system were not particularly reliable, so he had to deal with them carefully. Anyway, you can choose to accept this reward or not. It's a bit conscientious. After being polite to Bai for a while, Yu hung up the phone. He found the female anchor on Wixen and sent her a clear message directly. "Come to the Magic City tonight, I want to meet you." Responding to Yu's message almost instantly, the female anchor replied directly to him with 5 words. "Okay, Mr. Ye." Putting away his cell phone, Yu walked into the villa. Looking at Wang Meng, who was sitting on the sofa board, Yu smiled and said, Meng, why don't you sit down now? I'm going out. Come to Yuan Hotel to find me tonight." Wang Meng was stunned when he heard this, then nodded obediently and smiled sweetly, "Brother Ye, I know. Is it so interesting? This is a super luxury hotel that costs hundreds of thousands a night. Sure enough, I can't understand this kind of rich and powerful person, but it's okay, with someone who knows how to play, my future life will not be too boring." Although Wang Meng looks cute and petite, but her desire is stronger than anyone else, and she feels a little uncomfortable without having sex for 2 days. Before meeting Yu, she had been restrained. Although he contributed his first time, he got the opportunity to rise to the top. But she never experienced this kind of thing again after that, because she understood that a complete and clean body was her greatest asset. Everyone has a scheming mind. Seeing how sensible she was, Yu nodded with satisfaction. After getting dressed, Yu took out his car keys and drove his Pagani Zonda out of the villa. Yu drove the car straight to the Ludo Group. While on the road, he received a payment from Bai. Looking at the bank balance reminder on his mobile phone text message, Yu breathed a sigh of relief. Funds are sufficient. When he arrived at Ludo Group, Yu parked his car directly at the door of the company. Then he announced his identity and swaggered into the Roche Group. "Mr. Ludo." Led by the front desk secretary, Yu went directly to the chairman's office and met Ludo Hui, chairman of Ludo Group. After entering the office, Yu looked calm and walked up to shake hands with him. Ludo Hui glanced at Yu in surprise, and then asked, "Is it Mr. Ye?" Yu nodded calmly. After confirming his identity, Ludo Hui did not hesitate and directly took out a contract. "Master Ye, take a look at the document. If there are no problems, we will sign it." Yu pretended to pick up the document and read it for 10 minutes before putting it down, picking up the pen on the table and signing his name. Then, under the witness of the finance department, he paid 430 million of his own. However, it was after he paid the 430 million that his troubles officially began. At the Tiancheng New Energy headquarters, Zhang Cheng was dealing with something when a system prompt rang in his mind. Ding! Yu's luck value is -10. Villain value add 5,000. Zhang Cheng was shocked at that time. Yu's luck was so valuable. Deduct 10 luck points and get 5,000 villain points. This is more valuable than Ye Tian and Chen Luo combined. Awesome, Mr. Ye. Zhang Chengdu was shocked. He didn't expect that Yu could really gain weight. So fat. System, open the properties panel. System, villain system. Host, Zhang Cheng. Wealth value, 3,947.9 billion dragon coins, including company valuation. Villain value, 32,586 points. Backpack. Disposable attribute points, 0. Attributes, Constitution, 175. Strength, 175. Reactions, 175. Speed, 175. Charisma, 149. Note, the standard for a normal adult male is 100, and the maximum charm value is 149, full. Skills, plus, click to expand. Luck value, 210. Note, the luck value is an equal reward obtained after plundering the protagonist's luck. Since the host is a villain, his own luck value cannot be the same as that of the protagonist. It is taken care of by the plot world and is only used in subsequent systems, or exchanged for the villain at a ratio of 1:1000. Value. System Mall, plus. Dungeon Progress, the beautiful CEO's almighty doctor, 100%, the most powerful son-in-law of a wealthy family, 100%, and the powerful man starts by rewarding the female anchor, 45%. Zhang Cheng hasn't looked at his attribute panel for a long time. Only when I opened it this time did I realize that I had used so many villain points and now had 30,000 more. After thinking about it, Zhang Cheng directly spent 20,000 villain points this time and exchanged 20 attribute points to increase the 4 attributes to above 180. After doing this, Zhang Cheng's whole body was shocked. Physical fitness has reached a new level. This time, he won't feel tired even if he fights 60 times a month. Turning off the system, Zhang Cheng returned to reality. Fortunately, Yu's situation is finally under control, Zhang Cheng murmured with narrowed eyes. He had been in the stage of raising fake gods before, so he did not understand Yu too much, but now he had to work overtime to study and plunder him. However, for now, Yu's threat is not great. He doesn't have enough funds. This is a fatal problem. After applying for the patent, Lu Mengli conquered it thoroughly, and then used her own energy to defeat Yu in one fell swoop. The plot of the fake Shenhao is basically over. At this moment, in the Luo group, Yu successfully negotiated with Luo Hui and transferred 2 billion in cash and 10% of the shares to Luo Hui, so that he could have enough equity to fight against the erosion of the mysterious consortium. Master Ye, it's a pleasure to cooperate. Luo Hui was in a good mood. Yu was satisfied with receiving the 2 billion transfer, and shook hands with Luo Hui again. Happy cooperation, Director Luo. Then I'll leave first and won't disturb Director Luo. Master Ye, walk slowly. Yu walked out of Luo's, stood at the door and let out a long breath. The funding problem is temporarily solved. Looking up at the sky, Yu smiled mysteriously. It's time to have dinner.